have always been interested in the world of video games. I grew up with two little brothers, so
Okay.
it was one of the ways that I felt like I could earn big sister points was
Okay.
by playing video games with my brothers. And we played a lot of the like there were like children oriented games, but like the Lego games that you can play on the GameCube and sort of
Okay.
older versions of that. And then once it became too complicated, I saluted them and I took a back seat role. And sometimes I'd watch them play. But when I first received the script and the audition request, I immediately called my brothers and they were just over the moon excited because they loved the game and they were like, well, we have to help you prepare for your audition by playing the game with you. So we all like sat on the couch and we started playing, and they were so frustrated with me the whole time because I'd keep accidentally pressing the wrong button and then accidentally starting us over at the level. And so they were eventually just like, how about you just watch other people play it on YouTube? And I was like, you're right. So I am humbled by the game. I think it is complex both in the nature of the game itself, but also in the world making. And they've created such a rich story and environment that people can just pour hours of their time into and really feel like they're a part of the story themselves. So when we were first approaching the game, we knew that we had a lot of responsibility to do it justice so that the fans would be happy.
Yeah, and Ella, I was speaking to Lear and Rodrigo mentioned this when they first got this script for the tryout for Fallout. It was under another name, the Bandit or something, some Western name
Yeah,
to protect its sort of
interesting.
identity or something like that. So they were unaware when they did the self tape what they were actually
Really?
auditioning for. They were thought it was like some 60s or 70s movie that was
Really?
being remake or something. I didn't know the cast. I'm taken by the sounds of things. It was sort of different for you. Were you sort of
Yeah.
in the loop from the off in terms of what you were auditioning for and in terms of what the role might be?
Yeah, it was. I think the role itself evolved over time.
Mm.
But I was lucky enough to know early on that it was Fallout and it was based on this game. And I think having that knowledge going in was incredibly helpful. But to, their point, having a script and being told it's sort of a new age Western
Mm.
still fits, right? I think they did a really smart job of not trying to do everything by the book, by the video game, but really capturing the essence of the games, which I think a new age Western feels totally appropriate. So that's how it was described to them. I kind of love that because I think the story does feel nostalgic in a way. It feels sort of old school and new age all at the same time. Um, so that's really fun though. I really enjoyed getting to study the games themselves in the process of auditioning. Um, and it was really, really cool to see how Steph evolved from sort of a smaller, more meek version of sort of a 1950s housewife to the sort of badass, awkward, maybe good, maybe bad, patriotic woman that she really is in the show. So every episode, we were finding out new information about our characters and just having to adapt, um, which was such a fun way to work because you weren't anticipating what was going to happen next. You were truly just finding out like pieces of the puzzle. My first day on set, I didn't know I was getting a fork in my eye. And I showed up on set, and as I'm shaking Jonathan Nolan's hand for the first time in person, because we had done the whole process over Zoom, he said, by the way, you have a special effects appointment tomorrow. And I said, oh, great. Like, I was so excited. He's like, so you're getting a fork in the eye. And I like almost fell out of my chair. It was the craziest moment ever. So yeah, we were all learning things about the show as we were making it. So it's been really, really fun to sort of see the world make those discoveries too as it's come out.
Yeah, and Annabelle, when there was sort of cast attached to it, and you saw Ella Purnell's name, a
Mhm.
really talented UK actress,
Yeah.
Aaron Moulton, Moses Arice, but the big name, the sort of standout name in terms of vice principals. That's absolutely hilarious. Known for his comedic genius,
Yeah.
known for his thing. But Walton Goggins, oh my God,
Yeah.
everyone is sort of blown away. They're saying he's going to be up for an Academy Award for his role in terms of maybe a Golden for Cooper Howard in terms of his
Yeah.
portrayal, but this man, it seems like he could turn butter into gold in terms of whatever sort of role he sort of
He's so
puts his eyes
talented.
about. Yeah.
He,
And
I never really got to interact with Walton much because our characters have never crossed paths. And so I've only really been able to witness Walton's work since the show has been released. And he truly is spectacular. He has a way of just completely immersing himself into a role and into a world as well. Just seamlessly. He makes it look so easy. And I would say that of the whole cast, I think Ella and Aaron and Moises and Kyle, everyone brings something different to the show. And I think they were really, really smart with how they cast it. Everyone has different strengths, everyone has different kinds of comedy, and it keeps the story interesting. And I love how they always take a character. Graham and Geneva are writers, they're so brilliant that they take an archetype of a character, which, let's say for Steph, is the 1950s housewife, right? And they always find some way to subvert it and some way to change it so that your expectations are turned on its head. And so Ella, being this sort of sweet, okie dokie, loyal vault girl, becomes, as they say in the trailer, a little killer. And everything about the story sets up your expectations and then just blows your mind. It's pretty cool.
the sort of kinky scene with Dave Register, the
Yeah.
Chet sort of character in terms of, dare I say, to a bit creepy, a bit eerie as well, to try and put him in terms of replenish him as your sort of a dead husband, a
Yeah.
sort of such. But
Yeah.
that sort of scenes, I imagine they're awful sort of fun comedic gold for you as actress to play, and even the whole pregnancy with the whole water bursting. How did that was sort of work? Did you have just some sort of a pouch in underneath your sort of t-shirt or something, and you just press in it with your elbow or something and let the release, or how did that
It's
sort of
even
sequence?
funnier than that. They
Okay.
actually, so we did the whole scene, right? We sort of
Mm.
filmed all of it, and it was just, we filmed it for 8 hours. So it was a lot of time just laughing and trying to make the scene as cringy and awkward and spooky and funny as we possibly could. And Dave is such a wonderful scene partner. I think he's a comedic genius. He made my job easy, and I hope I made his easy. We just really had a ton of fun working with Claire Kilner, who was our director for that episode. And she also has been working on the House of the Dragons, both season 1 and season 2. She's wonderful to work with, and she creates a space that is so comfortable and also creative. And she really does listen to us as the actors, and it feels so collaborative. But when we finally got to the water breaking moment, it was actually a tube that they ran up through the leg of my costume, and then they cut a little hole down near my nether parts, and they ran the tube there, and then someone in the back pressed down on a pump at exactly the right time, and the water just gushed. And it was so ridiculous because we did it about 10 times, and every single time we would hear more water. And so they would just, I was absolutely drenched by the end of it. And it's so much more, it's
I'm trying to. I'm
cinematic,
trying to.
I don't know how realistic it is, but
I'm trying to imagine that, dare I say, not in an awful way or something that, but I'm just trying to imagine the way you would be walking with a pipe coming from
sure.
your ankle, sort of thing. But did you have to have your feet
I only had
apart,
to do that shot once. So it was really, we filmed the entire scene. Then once I was in my spot, I was just standing. I didn't even have to move. And they made it. And, everyone on set that worked with us, the costumers, props, special effects, all of them, they just make it so fun and collaborative and silly. And, you never feel deeply uncomfortable, even though, of course, it's an odd thing to show up to work and have, a tube running up your costume so that your water can break all over the floor. But you know, we had as much fun with it as we possibly could, and I loved being pregnant on the show. It was like my favorite activity. I just felt like I have felt like her character was so clear to me because of the pregnancy bump. Because a mother is ferociously protective. And that was one way for me to understand, like, okay, on one hand, she's the sweet, motherly person. And then on the other hand, she would do anything to take care of her child and to take care of her purpose in the vault. Um, which is, I think, why she goes after Chet in the first place. I think she sees that he is an easy target and that he will provide her with stability for being a father to her child, maybe just needing to replace the sort of husband figure that she had beforehand. But she's a very practical woman. But her means are bizarre, that is for sure.
And I suppose, Annabel, one thing that struck me in terms of Fallout, in terms of you're so true to the game in terms of its diehard audience and the sort of fan base. Is normally it's like a 17 plus when you think about Fallout the game, and
Yeah.
sometimes sometimes they make those reincarnations in the shows, like they say with the wrestling when they made it PG, like a 12, 13-year-old audience, it lost many of its diehard followers. But in terms of the Fallout, there are all the stunts effects, but there are some scenes there that are maybe a bit modest sort of nudity. There's one where Lucy McLean's she comes into the vault, and there's all these models and they just all start unrobing and this sort of cult like sort
Yeah.
of thing like that.
Yeah.
And you're just thinking to yourself that you wouldn't, some reincarnations of those that would be seen, oh, that's a bit over the top, oh, you can't do that and sort of stuff like that. But it just goes to show that if there's a story to tell you're not going to throw it back, you're not going to sort of cut it back in terms of that, that you're going to sort of stick with the sort of plots and the sort of storylines and not make it too campy, dare I say.
Yeah. Well, I think Fallout is all of those things combined. I think Fallout is camp. I think it owns it. I think it leans into the fact that it's tongue in cheek and that everything has almost a joke behind it. And then at the same time, it's bold and it's bloody and violent and aggressive and heartfelt. It's all of those things in one. And I think that's what makes it really special. And it feels really new because it's very difficult to sort of genre bend in the
Yeah.
way that Fallout has.
Do you
And
almost
then
feel, sorry to cut in, do you almost feel like you're competing with Halo at the moment? Like there seems to be Halo out at the moment in terms of TV series. Seems to be like a sci-fi era year 2024, because we had Dune, we had Rebel Moon, the two blockbuster movies, and now it's you and Halo, it's Fallout and Halo and something. Do you almost feel like that you're in a boxing ring with sort of Halo at the moment, that you're going blow to blow, or just love to
no,
have it?
I think besides the fact that they're both video games and they both are in the sci-fi genre, I think we're very different. And I think it's really hard to compare the two shows. I think is ours is a comedy in moments where Halo is not. I think it's completely different in tone. And I think it's really, really difficult to adapt a video game. And I think both shows have incredible wins in how they do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And tell me, there was a friendship straight off the bat between Stephanie Harper and Lucy McLean. And dare I say, the two actresses that played the role, have they become close friends as well, Ella and Annabel?
Ella is one of my favorite people. From day one on set, she was just such an incredible friend to me because this was my one of my first roles of this nature, of being able to show up every day and work on set um and having a character with some longevity. And Ella was both an incredible friend and just an incredible example for me on set. She was such a leader for everyone on that set. And I just think she's wickedly talented. She is just outrageously kind and just hilarious. She was always the person making all of us laugh on set. And Yeah, I feel very, very lucky to have made her as a friend throughout the process.
And
Very,
I
very lucky.
suppose the future for Fallout 2, not just throwing some storylines, maybe that Walton and Ella on their way back from the wastelands maybe could make a detour down for a few episodes down to Vault 32, and I suppose
I would
get
love that.
get a few interactions going between Walton and Annabel.
Yeah, that would be, oh, that would be the dream, especially because Ella and I, we filmed episode 1 together, and we had so much fun filming all of those scenes together. And then we realized we're not ever going to be on set at the same time again. So I would love the opportunity to get to work with Ella again. And yeah, it would be fantastic to have Walton come visit our vault. I think we could show him a very nice time in Vault 32, especially
Well,
under Steph's leadership.
under Seth's leadership.
Yeah.
And I suppose just turning away from Fallout at the moment, Annabelle, is it a busy time for you in 2024? Have you anything in the pipeline at the moment?
I have a movie coming out at the Tribeca Film Festival during the strike, because I think, the Hollywood strikes have had a profound impact on the industry. But during the strike, I was lucky enough to receive a waiver to make a movie with a friend from college, and he wrote a brilliant, brilliant movie called Rent Free, and it's sort of a coming of age awkward comedy that I think speaks to a lot of people and will speak when it premieres at the Tribeca Film Festival the first week of June. But besides that, I am auditioning, and I am just looking towards season 2. Hopefully, I mean, I'm not sure when we're going to begin filming, but hopefully by the end of the year. And um, I've been overwhelmed with the positive reviews of the show, and it really just is so heartwarming to see people enjoying it.
And I suppose for the last 30 seconds, we'll turn it over to Steph Harper herself. And she might enlighten all or any audience or viewers who have been hiding or hibernating under a rock for the last month or so, that haven't heard about Fallout, or have been in a deep sleep, or have woken up from a coma or something, and hearing about this new sci-fi TV series out in Amazon Prime, and maybe want to have maybe witness an episode 1 or an episode 2 and want to follow on, or maybe just starting from afresh. And Steph Harper, if they're turned on their TV screens, computers, laptops, whatever the mode of communication, and they watch Fallout on Amazon Prime or wherever they might stream it, what's in store for them?
Well, if you were to watch Fallout on Amazon Prime, you would find me as a leader of Vault 32, faithfully fulfilling the God, this is hard. I haven't been Steph in forever. Watch Fallout because it is just uproariously funny and silly and delightful and bold and violent and all of the things you could hope for in a good show. And if you come visit my vault in Vault 33 or Vault 33 and then now Vault 32, you might just be able to try my mashed potato recipe.
Oh, your mashed potato recipe. Okay. There's a bit of